My guest today is Irving Serrano and the documentary short film Voices from the Abyss. Now, Irving Serrano studied the film production course and earned a bachelor's degree in cinematography at Centro, and he produced the short film Beso de Lengua that won as Best Mexican Short Film in the Guanajuato International Film Festival and was selected in Tribeca in 2024. He co-directed Voices from the Abyss, a short documentary film about the Quebrada Cliff Divers, with the support of the Mexican Institute of Cinematography and an official selection at many international film festivals, and a winner of Best Documentary Short in the Cine Las Americas 26, and winner of the Best Ibero-American Film at Guadalajara International Film Festival. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome co-writer-director Irving Serrano and the documentary short film Voices from the Abyss to the show. Welcome, Irving.
Hi, how are you? I'm very happy to be here and talk about the short film with you.
Well, I enjoyed this short film very, very much. So, what inspired you and Victor to do a documentary short film on cliff divers?
I mean, in Mexico, it's a very common thing to do on weekends. Acapulco is just like 4 or 5 hours away from the city, so it's common to go on holidays with your family. And one of these images that you have like a child is going to the quebrada and watch the divers. And it is very interesting because when you go to the show, you only notice that they jump from the cliff, and the jumping is like I'm not joking, like 3 seconds. They climbed up to the top and just 3 seconds, and it's like an image that it's always on your mind. Once you see it, you cannot forget it. A few years ago, Victor was visiting Acapulco for the first time, and we were chatting, and he sent me an images because he went to the Quebrada Cliff Diving show. When I watched the images, and he came back to Mexico City because we studied together in Mexico, we noticed that there were no short film regarding the divers. I mean, the divers has been in a lot of movies, in a lot of like series, but they don't have like their own show or their own movie. So it was like, okay, I mean, something it's not. I mean, and we thought that it was like a very great opportunity area, right?
Well, yeah, and you,
Also,
oh, no, yeah. So, yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, don't worry. And we were very motivated because we just recently seen Olympia by Lena Riefenstahl because we really admire how she filmed the diving sequence, and we were like struck by the images, and we thought, what if we make like a homage to the divings in black and white, and try to do something like it's a temporary, so you can watch anytime, and it's not subject to that we're in the 2020 right now. But recently the divers just turned 19 years old show, and it's a lot of time, and we thought maybe with this short film we can bring homage to the whole tradition because it's a lot of time. And also lately Acapulco has been struck by a lot of like violence and hurricanes, and we wanted to get to talk about things about Acapulco and about good things in Mexico, because I think that recently the cinema is focusing on bad stuff, and I mean there's a lot of stuff going on, but we try to do something different to talk about something that we consider that is very beautiful
Yeah.
and passionate.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, I remember back in the 1970s and into the early 80s here in America, I would watch the cliff divers on television. And my parents back in, I think it could have been the early 80s, they had gone to Las Brisas in Acapulco and talked about the cliff divers. So it's one of the most amazing things to watch. And when I was watching your film, I was amazed at how young some of these divers are. So, how old was the youngest diver that you filmed, and how old was the oldest diver?
Oh, I mean, it's a long tradition, and it's very interesting because like 20 years ago, the divers they received a lot of international tourism, and actually they earned like their living. They charge a little bit for the entry, but I mean it's like $5, and all of the other income they have it's about tips. So when the international tourism left Acapulco, I mean they also live about tips, but the tips are very small. But this has to do also with the fact that it's like a very traditional how to say like a family tradition. So a lot of the youngsters they have like a past like grandfathers and fathers. So like all the family is getting involved. Um, but I mean, in the short film, the youngest one is like 10 years old. They are like very young, and the older ones are like 56. The thing is that when they get to that point, they retire, and I mean they still work for the association. They don't die, but you know they keep up like the accounts and keep la quebrada clean, so they keep working, and it's like a way of living because even a lot of them has like two side jobs to support their lives. They are still all connected to the quebrada. And one of the stories that I really like about this short film is the story about Lila. Lila is like one of the first women divers in history. The the divers were like a very like close environment for women. And recently, Lila is the daughter of one of the top divers. So she's like now doing like following her steps of her father, and it is very interesting because her father, that is named Hector, has like a big tattoo of the Holy Dead in his back, and he do that like as a promise if she have to say it, if she does well in her bird because he was in danger. So it's very interesting that right now she's good, she's fine. She turns to be like a youngster, but right now she wants to be a diver, and in a few months she's going to be like the first woman to dive from the highest point. So the
Wow.
divers are changing.
Yeah, and I noticed that in I noticed that in the film because I know back, oh my gosh, I even hate to say it. I mean, 40, 50 years ago when, like you said, Acapulco was one of the biggest uh tourist areas in the world and one of the most beautiful cities. And everybody talked about the cliff diving, but you never saw a woman diver. And then I saw this in your film, and then I was like, wow, that's a big change. Because even when I was watching it on television, there was never a woman diver. And now you're saying that she is going to get ready to dive from the highest point. And I understand, I actually had to do some conversion of math here because I learned that it was 35 millimeter, which is 114 feet. Not only does that sound pretty scary, a lot of these divers have sustained a lot of injuries too, right?
Yes, I mean it was scary. We brought the camera into the tub, and we felt a little bit because I mean even as staring in the cliff, it's like something very powerful. And a lot of the divers talk about that sensation also, that looking into the abyss, they feel like it's calling them, no, like attracting them to jump. Um, but yes, I mean it is a very dangerous place because a lot of them had a lot of injuries doing what they do for a living. And for us it was like a very good interaction with them like also we went to the show and talk about it. We want to do a short film and everything. And just when we are filming the short film, one of the divers, well, when who were doing the negotiations with us, we just learned that he lost a lot of his hearing because of the diving, because of the pressure. Her ear just like pop, so he doesn't hear very well. So for me, it was like a very shocking, and not just that, because a lot of them have like broke his arm, her ribs, and for example, the president of the divers has like a very very horrible accident, and he lost parts of his intestines because he landed with his belly instead of landing with you know so and not just that, because I mean, if there are like 114 feet, but you don't see that a lot, but it's like 3 meters depth. So if they don't wait for the wave to jump for the exact second, they're gonna land on on rocks. And when they, I mean, you can actually watch that on the documentary, that they have to enter the water and then like do a little bit of, I don't know, like a little jump inside, because if they don't do that, they're gonna go right into the rocks. And
Well, I was
also,
wondering, yeah, because the one thing that I've always noticed when I used to watch cliff diving, it's based on timing of the water coming into the area. So you want the water to come in when you make the jump. You don't want to be jumping when the water is going back out to sea, correct?
yes, because I mean that's certainly dead. I mean that's and it's amazing because while we are doing the short film, we noticed that the youngsters and the girls, because I mean aside Lila, there's a lot another girls that are learning to do the dives. They do it like like with no fear, and for me was like wow. I mean we did jump like just for the lulz, like would you say, we jumped like, I mean, like 1 meter out, in how to say, down in the quebrada, and it was very scary. I mean, because I mean, obviously it wasn't that high, but the tide there is very strong, and they can put you against the rock very easily.
You know, the other thing that amazed me is, it's like you said, the younger ones, they're jumping off into the water, and to them, it's just fun. But then as they get older, there's there's that maybe a little bit of fear steps in because you're older. And but one of the things that really caught my eye in this documentary was not only them jumping, but watching them come out of the water and then basically free solo climb up the side of the cliff to get to the top or to get whatever level they're going to jump off of. And I'm thinking, they have two talents. They know how to dive off the cliff, but they also know how to free climb back up. And I thought that was awe inspiring.
Yes, I mean, for us, it was very important to bring that to the short film, because obviously when you go to the dive show, I mean, they're like like doing this waving, like building this emotion before the jump. But only if you look carefully, you'll notice that they come into the water and they do this climbing, and it is very scary. I mean, even when we were filming, I thought that please that please that nobody falls, because I mean it's impressive, because they are like with their hands all wet and with no protection, and a fall. I mean, just climbing, and at the middle, if you fell, it's obviously a certain death or certain injury. And since the mountain is like drifting away, it is very dangerous. So I mean, it's scary. And also, what I find fun is that talking to the old ones, the elder ones, they always remind this, like an emotional part of the show, because when I mean right now they don't notice that a lot, but in early years, um, they notice how they were climbing, and they do like with a rhythm, so the people is like wowing them. So I mean, they really love being the stars of the show.
Well, of course they do. Now, the thing that I also noticed, and I was really happy that you included this into the short film, that many of the divers pray before they dive because they understand the dangers. And I love that element of the film as it shows that there is a spiritual aspect to what they do. I mean, even at the top, I mean, who built the Virgin Mary shrine at the top of the cliff?
I mean, there's a long tradition, and not all of the divers believe in the Virgin. That's one of the things that I found very interesting. But they have like a very strong community with religion, because a lot of the things that they are doing is very dangerous. And also, if you are able to go to Acapulco on the 12th of December, they do like something very interesting, that all of the divers, even the retired ones, jump from the cliff to pay like tribute to the Virgin. And there's a long tradition. A lot of them, they don't believe in the Virgin, but they do it as a part of the show. But they do believe in other stuff. That's what I really thought, that everyone believes in the Virgin and everything. But talking to them, some of them told us that they don't believe in God, or someone told us that they don't believe in God, but they do believe in nature, and how it protects them doing what they do. But I think that the very interesting thing about faith and the spiritual is that they share like this belief in diving. I don't know how to say, but they really feel protected by them. And
You know,
even if they're like, I'm sorry, sorry, I hear you.
no, it's amazing, and it's when you watch the film, a lot of people may not know, but because I've seen this for years, I'm amazed that as the decades have gone by in Mexico, that there are those that don't believe in the Virgin Mary because Catholicism is extremely big in Mexico. And when I saw that in the film, I was like, wow, things have changed. And you showed that. And you showed that one diver who said he didn't believe, but he knew that there was a higher power.
Yes, I mean, I think that it has to do a lot with I mean, with the new era, that a lot of young divers that are incorporating to the company don't have like the same traditional values as the other ones. But I mean, they do try to keep it not that public, because they know they have to do this in. I mean, they have to do. I don't know how to say. Um, they have to embrace uh, the part of the show that involves Virgin Mary. But even if they don't believe in Virgin Mary, they pray to their inner gods and to their inner fears. And that's one of the interesting things we find out, that even if they don't believe anything, they have like their own ritual, like like going and touch the Virgin, and trying to ease their mind, erase any thought, and just jump. I mean, every diver has like a different way to approach it. One of the older ones told us that as soon as he stared at the cliff, he just jumped, because if he keeps staring, he couldn't do it, because he would be very scared. But for
Yeah,
example, another one,
yeah, I would be like him.
No, I imagine. I mean, and another ones are like, oh no, I like to be in the cliff and just watch the waves and be motivated by the sound of the sea.
Yeah.
And another ones, they think about the lost ones, about the divers that, I mean, not they nobody has died in the quebrada, but you know that their relatives that they are not alive and try to think about them. But I mean, this didn't enter the short film because we didn't want it to be that personal, character driven in the short. We wanted to be like a collaborative documentary. But one of the divers told us that he wasn't scared at all to jump, but he was very scared right now because he was going to be a father. And I mean,
Yeah.
we at the moment we were filming this short film, Acapulco was struck by Hurricane Otis. So I mean, at the same time that Hurricane Otis struck Acapulco, he just gave birth to her daughter. So for him, it was very scary. But
I
I mean,
I could imagine. Now, why did y'all choose to film it in black and white?
I mean, we really like all movies, but we wanted to bring homage to the Acapulco Golden Era. Also, like I told you before, Olympia, Little River Style, we really like this temporary portraits of the diver she aimed to go, and also we believe that it was important that you couldn't not be distracted about the beauty of the sea because the beauty is very beautiful. The sea is very beautiful, but we rather wanted to be focused on them and the relationship with the cliff. That's I mean, when we film it, there were no public, but when we are doing like our approach to the documentary, we believe that we wanted no public, right? We wanted to be more like a ritual, because at the end, what they are doing, they don't do it because of money. I mean, obviously, there's a little profit and everything, but one of the things that find very motivating about this documentary is that they they die because it's a way that they can express themselves, right? In very many ways. So we wanted not to be distracted by colors, and also, you know, like it could be film. I mean, obviously it's Acapulco, it's like Quebrada, but uh, we wanted to talk about like humans, right? Because what they are doing, like climbing this cliff and trying to jump in the perfect way and not getting harmed and trying to enjoy the ride. I think a lot of us do the same things. I mean, us as filmmakers feel related to them because we invest all our money in maybe short films, and we really don't get anything back. I mean, it is just a bet, right? So a lot of humans, I mean, not the divers, are trying to approach a lot of stuff, but I think that the way they left, money and a lot of things just to fulfill their dreams and their passion, for me, it was the most important things. And also with Victor, we talk about that to bring this homage to, to when people remember Acapulco being beautiful and great. And I mean, Acapulco is really great. Unfortunately, it is I mean, it's not very dangerous. Acapulco, I have to say, it is better than a few years ago, but it's not the way that it used to be. So
Yeah, it used
we
to
wanted
be
to.
a yeah, it used to be a very safe place to go on vacation. Um, very vibrant, very bright colors, and I can understand why you decided to do black and white because Acapulco is a very colorful city, isn't it?
Yes, and also one of the other things that are important is that we wanted to be more introspective with the divers, and we thought that if we don't have like color, it could be like a dream, right? It could feel like a dream. That's why we start the documentary with a poem. We went to the Quebrada and talked with divers, and with that interviews, we got to a friend that is called Bernardo Fuentes, and he wrote a poem to talk about the feeling of being in the air. So our approach was like, we wanted to be like a dreamy I mean, like a dream, a collective dream about diving, because in the end, these people are very different. A lot of them are, I mean, even you don't watch it in the film, but there are like also fight like in every family. But at the end, they share this passion and they support each other among this mutual feeling. So we feel that black and white, it was like, like more to
Well,
the
and
point.
the slow motion gave it that dreamlike quality and really it really played homage to the divers with the slow mo. And like you said, a dive only lasts 3 seconds. So the slow motion allows the audience to see it a little bit longer and to appreciate the beauty of the dive, the danger of the dive. So when you were doing the documentary, what was the most challenging part of filming the divers?
I mean, it was very difficult to have like a lot of point of views, because we don't have a lot of dives. We have like only like 12 dives, and we don't have like second takes. It was the dive and everything. Um, so I would say that the harder parts of the whole process was negotiating with them, because they were, like, they have filmed with Netflix before our short film, and so it was hard them to convince them about our art movie, because they don't really understand what we were doing. But I would say after we turn like well to a agreement, we start like, like being friends, and a lot of the stuff that you watch on the short film was made in collaboration with them. At first, it's gonna be like more like of a study of, of diving, but we get of these beautiful stories about how they relate with the dive. And also, I want to briefly say that we were supported by Free Ember. I mean, in Mexico, there are no like high-speed cameras that you can travel into the sea, and they were very grateful with us and lend us a free camera to do this short film. So it was very good, because there was no other way to get these dives in slow motion. Also, the security was a very important matter, because we were, like putting big cameras on the cliff. One of the my favorite shots of the film was shot just, like just a little bit down of where the diver is diving. So, we have to bring like strings to have people secure. And even then, I mean, it wasn't really secure at all, so I was very scared. Also, we went down into the quebrada, and you have to climb and like bring expensive cameras and expensive lenses. So it was like it was risky, and it was scary also.
Well,
And we
how did
also
you do the underwater shots?
That's interesting. We One of the recommendations we have with one of the guys is an expert here in Mexico, is that you cannot do real dives and film it, because you can get killed and everything. So we work with the children. Um, they were like, we got like a small dives, and it was very very secure, and we were doing like, like we do like 5 7 dive with the kids, but very very low angle, so we can catch them, and there was no risk of getting into the camera. But we were trying to do that with how to say with another lens underwater for the adult dives, but the camera got bad because a small drop of water get into the camera, so we have to stop doing that. I mean, at the end, the camera is good, everybody's good, but for me, it works better because you only watch kids at the bottom of the quebrada. I mean, and we didn't talk about this at first, but for us, it was like, okay, it's very interesting because you watch these kids climbing, and suddenly there are only adults, and at the end, when they get into the water, there are only kids. So, oh, okay. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I think it was interesting. But I think that was the hardest part also since Acapulco was struck by a hurricane. We were sleeping in a house without windows, so it was harsh. I get dengue, for example, um, but it was a good story.
So wait, y'all were there when y'all were filming when you got hit by the hurricane?
No, we filmed like 2 weeks, 2 weeks after the hurricane.
I got you.
Yes.
And that was a devastating hurricane, wasn't it?
No, it was horrible. I mean, when we have to film it because we were supported by Mexican Film Institute, and we cannot push the shooting forward. And also, the divers told us that it will be like the best time to film with them because there wasn't going to be any show. So at the end, I think it was better because we get to be like very intimate with them. And I mean, it was like a very funny day of shooting because we do like interviews, and then we do a little shooting, and at the end we were drinking a beer, and it was helpful because I feel like the divers have been recorded a lot, but like for profit and everything, and at the end they do understand that we really do bring wanted to bring them homage, right? We were not like pursuing like economic success or anything. Like, we really wanted to bring homage to this tradition, and we do believe that it's one of the most important traditions in Mexico, and it's losing a little bit of attention of people within my generation. So we thought with short film we could bring a little awareness or more awareness about the show.
Well, I love the idea that y'all decided to do this. It's a very beautiful film. And how does it feel to be an official selection at Holly Shorts this year?
I mean, for me, it is very, very. I mean, this is for. I mean, I think that a lot of people most say that a little bit, but this is going to be like my last short film because I'm trying to get into features after this. So for me, it is very exciting because I wanted to be in LA. I never show anything of mine in LA, and also for Victor. I mean, Victor couldn't be in the interview, but this is like our first short film that is doing like a worldwide tour. And being in Holy Short is very important because we with the Guadalajara Award in Mexico, we are now able to be eligible for the Oscars. So for us, it is a very interesting festival because we got to be in the Chinese theater, and also we got to be in the documentary competition. I mean, it is. I just saw like the other short films and all the other documentary short films look great, also. But being a such important place and also in a such important competition in the festival for us is very important because I mean this is I mean at the end it's like the most important place for movies, right? And to screen a film about like Quebrada Cliff Divers in Hollywood for me is like a dream, it's. And also, I mean, the divers are very excited. Unfortunately, they cannot come this time, but we went to Guanajuato past week, and they were low. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be awesome.
Well,
And
so is
I mean,
this film already Oscar qualified?
yes, it is.
Well, congratulations on that because I'm just barely starting to see some of the Oscar qualification qualified films finally appear. Well, congratulations to you and Victor and the rest of the team for being Oscar qualified because this film, like I said, it's a beautiful film. It's a great subject. I think the audiences are going to absolutely love it. So, when you appear at Holly Shorts, what do you desire for the audiences to take away from seeing the film?
First of all, I would love to them to what to try to learn about more about the divers, to follow them or to and also second, I would love them to be like motivated, no, to do whatever they want to do because at the end, I mean, it's a story about passion. I mean, in the end, there's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of injuries, a lot of like obstacles in our ways. But if you are able to move ahead, you are gonna you're gonna do you're gonna do what makes you happy. So I try to think about the movie as how do you say it in English, like a happy feeling movie. I mean, I don't know if that's. I mean, I'm sure that there's a little dark side there, but at the end we wanted to talk about injuries, not in a bad way, but like these men and women also they are like getting up from these injuries in a brave way, right? In you know we are like wounded, we are being affected not just by like injuries, about crime, about hurricanes, but we stand here right now. And for me, that's the thing. A lot of stuff could happen, but if you keep united and you keep together, I mean, you can do whatever you want as a community also. I think that that's very important.
Yeah, very, very much so. And you bring the reality of these cliff divers from the young to the old. And it's not just jumping off the cliff, it's climbing back up. You covered, the injuries to show that there is a true danger to this sort of thing. And even though people show up and it's entertainment to the crowd, it's a very serious thing that these men and women are doing to entertain that crowd, and it's a very dangerous thing to do. But this film is a very beautiful film, and ladies and gentlemen, the La Quebrada Cliff Divers of Acapulco, they earn their living by diving 100 feet into the sea from a dangerous cliff as part of a very thrilling show to watch. Now, in Voices from the Abyss, it explores the nature of their dives through slow motion footage, personal testimonies, and an original poem recited by the divers themselves. Now, Voice from the Abyss is a beautiful film showcasing the beauty of cliff diving, but also the dangers. You will be amazed at how young some of these divers are, but there is a spirituality to their diving that only they have experienced. Again, I remember watching these cliff divers from American television back in the 1970s and the 1980s, and it is still as awe inspiring today. And Irving, I want to thank you so much for sharing your film with me today.
No, thanks to you, and thanks for watching it. And I hope a lot of people in the United States and also in Holy Shores, we will be attending the screening because we wanted to be there and promote the film. And hope you like the film. And also, if you don't like it, oh, it's okay. But please give you the time to watch it. The things that these divers do is very unique, so you should experience it. I mean, in also in a big screen, it looks very nice. The short film looks very nice.
Oh, I'm sure it does, Irving. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are attending this year's Holly Shorts Film Festival, be sure to be in the theater and see Voices from the Abyss. This, again, is a beautiful documentary short filmed in black and white. You feel everything that is in this amazing short, and believe me, you're going to love it. And this film is now Oscar qualified, so now we have to keep our eyes on this film and see how far it will go to its run to the Oscars. And ladies and gentlemen, you can catch all of the Bond on Cinema interviews at bondoncinema.com. Check out our Prime show, our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on your way to work on Spotify, iTunes, Audible, and more. And you're either going to see me at the movies or from the red carpet.
Cada vez que se acerca el momento de lanzarte, es normal, tu corazón empieza a palpitar más fuerte, a latir más fuerte.
Una sensación que muy pocos se atreven a sentir.
Se siente mucha adrenalina, muy bonito, como si tuvieras maripositas en el estómago.
Son 3 segundos de la trayectoria de la caída, pero pues esos 3 segundos a veces se siente más, como si te quedaras en el aire.